name is Thomas O'Regan, and over the last 4 years, me and my wife have 20x our property portfolio's equity position. I'm a professional property investor here in Australia, and today I just wanted to talk about the differences, or what is financial intelligence and delayed gratification. So, financial intelligence is not something a lot of people get when they have finished school at the end of that 12-year stint that you have to do in most countries to get educated. Now, financial education is something that is super important to be successful in life in this day and age, okay? Because we use fiat currency as a medium to trade for services, goods and assets and all that sort of thing. So it's in your best interest to understand it. In my opinion, it's even more important to understand how that works than it is to understand how to do a job. Because essentially what you go to school for 12 years is you are essentially learning the skills it takes to be good, or to be, that will increase the likelihood that you are good at performing a job working in a company. Okay, you typically don't go to school to learn how to start your own company. You're learning how to be an employee at a job in a company, okay? And to do that, you don't need any sort of financial literacy, and I don't mean maths, I don't mean plus and minuses and algebra and all that sort of stuff. I mean financial intelligence, like how to use money, okay? How to use money to make money. That's something that some people learn it and some people don't, and I consider myself someone that is lucky that has learned that. And also, as well as learning that, I also just naturally have the ability to be happy with delayed gratification when it comes to financial things, financial outcomes. Not so much in other things. Like, I don't have delayed gratification when it comes to education or getting promoted at work even. I don't have delayed gratification when it comes to eating food. I will just eat whatever I want. But luckily, when it comes to financing, I have all the good stuff to be successful at investing. Now, I just want to hit on this. Obviously, there's different types of intelligence. You can be very book smart. You can be very intellectually intelligent. What I mean is, in school, you could have got straight A's all the way, but when it comes to money, you just don't know how to use it to make more money. You don't know how to spend it. You don't know how to manage it. Every time you earn money, you spend it instantly, and the more money you make, the more money you spend. That is the typical habits of someone who's not very financially intelligent. You might call them financially illiterate. And it's funny, I guess, not really, but a lot of people actually are that way. As I said, you just don't learn it in school. But if you can learn these things, you can effectively build more wealth, work less hours, and live the life that you want to live, okay? Because money is a tool, and the more money you have, the more options you have. The better life you can live, the better quality life you can live, the less you will stress about day-to-day things like food and rent, and the more you'll be able to focus on things that someone might call important. The more money you'll be able to have to spend on things like health or education or mental well-being. These are all things that, if you know how to make money, if you know how to make money, you don't necessarily know how to make money. You don't necessarily need to know how to invest to get the benefits of these things. But I think if you know how to invest, you can indefinitely, and as life goes on, you can increase these things, which are quality of life, and health related things. And ultimately, I think that's what we all want, right? So another thing, now that I hit on financial intelligence and why I think it's important to learn it, also another thing that goes hand in hand with financial intelligence is delayed gratification when it comes to investing. Now, when it comes to investing in any investment portfolio, at the point where you will make the most amount of money will be at the end of the portfolio's journey. Okay, so let me explain that to you. So basically, you might invest, $1,000 in something, and you might get a 25% return on it. So it takes you 4 years to make your money back. But then once you made your money back and you keep the investment invested, it will compound onto itself. And then the money that you started with will grow, it will double. And then from there, it will triple, quadruple. And by the end of the portfolio, the maturity of the portfolio's journey, it will have compounded so many times that at the later stage, every time it doubles or every time it grows, it will be such a larger amount in proportion to how much growth you were having at the start of the portfolio journey. So however long the investment journey is, the later stage of that, whether it's like a 10-year journey, whether it's a 20-year journey, whether it's a 30-year, 50-year, or even a 100-year journey, the point where you'll be making the most amount of money, however long that is in the last period. So it will be in the last year of the 100-year journey, or it will be in the last 2 years of the 10-year journey, or whatever it will be. The end is where you make the most amount of money. Now, that is why knowing that, for me, helps delay my gratification. I know that whatever money I have, for me to invest that, it will be worth far more in the future than it is to me today. So instead of spending on day-to-day luxury items here and there, I choose to invest, and that helps then when the money is invested, not to get excited and draw on that money to spend on more things that are luxurious and splurge. I would much rather just leave as much money invested as long as possible, so ultimately I get that true delayed gratification and I'm many more times wealthier at the end of my journey. Anyway guys, that's enough of that, and I'll see you next time.